Hey guys, Derek here. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome for the first time if you are new. We are back to watch another episode of Young Royals. This is Season 3, Episode 5. It is the penultimate episode, and I'm very excited to jump into it. Before we do that though, if you end up enjoying my reaction, please leave a like on the video. It means a lot to me. If you're new here, hit subscribe or ring the bell so you're notified when I upload. Then if you're interested in seeing the full uncut version of this reaction, consider either supporting me on Patreon or joining YouTube memberships. You just sync up your own copy of the show and you can watch along with me. But other than that, let's jump into another episode of Young Royals. What is going on here? Oh, this is their hideaway, the place where all the hazing happens.
Okej hörni, nu blir det film. Jag vill att alla tittar. Handlingarna på er dum. Gillar ni vad ni ser, pojkar? Stolt jag ser det där. Rör sig lite där.
Yeah, he's envisioning what his brother might have done to these people.
Och Erik, han var där.
Yep.
Man kan säga att W's frånvaro av kommunikation i sig.
Vad tycker du jag ska ha på mig på din födelsedag?
You should wear
Är det någon klädkod eller?
an astronaut helmet.
Jag ska väl ha kostym. Kostym? Mm. Okej. Svart eller vadå? Hallå? Vad är det med dig?
He's got a lot going on.
August, läget? Du, vi håller på att jobba med nomineringarna här nu. Har du
Nominations for what?
kolla på det än?
Nej. Klassens festpriser.
Oh, and like end of the year. Yeah,
Klassens
the
import.
got it.
Ja, men att man är typ såhär nyanländ eller såhär fattig stil typ. Marvan tyckte det var skitkul, eller hur?
Ja, ganska roligt.
That's super not funny.
Jag kanske är världens tråkigaste människa nu, men vad händer om någon utanför hör om det här?
Men snälla, August, det är över.
No, it's not over. You guys are gonna have eyes on you forever.
Skitsamma.
Yeah,
vad ni vill.
I would not want to
Jag
be
komma sen.
actively participating in that.
Grupp 1 som tar hand om förrätt och aperitif, det är Fredrika, Edith, Louise och Madison. Grupp 3 sen tar hand om dessert, det är Mikaela, Felice och Sara.
Okay, dessert.
Så tvättar dina kläder också med det där tvättmedlet utan parfym som du gillar.
Unscented detergent.
Va? Vadå? Får man inte vara lite glad om man har haft en produktiv dag? Ja, jag träffade läkaren och fick en ny medicin.
What's the new medicine?
Du, jag tänkte på uppkörningen. Du får köra mig dit så kan vi träna bort lite nerver en sista gång. Okej?
Sounds good. He's being a present father. It's working great. Locker number 60. Is that Wilhelm's locker?
Var Erik någonsin det?
Svag?
Ja.
Alla människor har sina svagheter, gubben. Men det är svårt att minnas Eriks. Han var så levnadsglad. Han hade inte det där mörkret inom sig.
It's because he put it on other
Perfekt.
people.
Eller?
Ja, det var han verkligen.
Jag fick höra en grej om honom.
Vänta lite, gubben.
is about to talk to his dad about it and just gets interrupted.
Eller vi kanske kan ta det i helgen.
Single tier acting school. Simone! And Willie's rocking the Galaxy Flip? Or is that the Z Fold? Damn, ignoring Simone? Honestly, if they broke up, I wouldn't hate it at this point.
Alltså, du får vara ärlig och säga om jag har gjort någonting. För det känns som att du tycker jag är jobbig för att jag frågar dig om födelsedagen eller något. Men jag gör ju det för din skull.
Du är inte jobbig.
You guys just don't line up.
Erik var med. På invigningen. Han var en av 300 som var där som höll i det.
Yeah.
Du menar porrfilmen?
Du behöver verkligen inte att du dömer honom också.
Jag har inte sagt något.
Men jag ser vad du tänker.
Vad tänker
Du
jag?
tänker att han är homofob, att han inte stod upp för de svaga. Att han inte hade tyckt om att jag var med dig eller att han hade tyckt om vem jag är.
Det behöver inte alls vara så.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a given. You don't know how he would have acted.
Han kanske föll för grupptryck. Vad vet du?
Yeah, there's a lot that you don't know about the situation. So you can't really assume everything.
Jag tror bara att du måste vänja dig vid tanken av att Erik kanske inte var helt perfekt.
Men vänta, alltså... Vad menar
Yeah,
du?
I know that
Vadå?
he probably only wants
Alltså,
to think the best of him,
jämföra Erik och
that he's
Sara.
dead,
Du hade
but
rätt att göra det.
Det gjorde jag inte.
Jo, det gjorde du.
Nej.
Du gjorde det precis. Vad fan
he
menar du?
didn't compare the two of the people, he compared the situations.
Men hon har försökt göra någonting
Skitsamma,
bra.
jag orkar inte.
Kan vi bara...
Jag orkar inte, Simon.
Men kan vi bara snacka?
Yeah, he didn't directly compare Eric and Sarah, but he compared the situations a little bit. And more so like his situation, like how he relates to it. Not necessarily he didn't equate the two things. So I think Willie was a little too aggressive there. Oh, he put it in her locker. Why? What if she didn't even read it? She just gave it back to him. She's like, I found this in my locker.
För att alltså, om du har fått förhinder eller någonting så måste du säga det. För att uppkörningen är om 30 minuter och bussen går inte förrän om 20 minuter. Så att du måste verkligen komma. Ja, ring mig.
Oh no, is her dad gonna let her down?
Hej, vart är du någonstans? Jag måste verkligen veta om du är på väg eller inte. För...
Dang. Is she gonna get on the bus or is she just gonna run?
Han var den rimliga. Han var den jag kunde lita på. Han var min bror. Och nu... Nu vet jag liksom inte ens om han hade tyckt om mig.
Klart han hade.
Maybe you would have been the reason that he grew and changed. You know?
Så du kan följa skylten mot Bjärsta södra.
I hope she passes. Oh no, he went out to get beers. That sucks.
Pero el amor, det ska inte vara så svårt.
It shouldn't be this hard.
Speciellt när man är så ung.
They got a lot going on.
med pappa. Men sen så... Han skulle köra dit när jag lovade. Men istället så drack han öl med sina kompisar. Att jag trodde att det skulle bli bra. Men... Jag vet inte vad jag trodde, men det var så ont. Förlåt, Simon. Jag är så ledsen.
Jag vet. Och jag förlåter dig.
Oh, poor kid. Keep him. Don't take it off. You rapscallion.
Cumpleaños feliz.
Feliz cumpleaños, Wilhelm.
Cumpleaños min Ville. Cumpleaños feliz.
You're 17. Okay, you guys need to talk stuff out.
Allt okej mellan oss?
Barely. You're just barely okay.
Tack för ditt sms.
Ja, där kommer de.
Simon!
Grattis på födelsedagen, kronprinsen.
Tack för det.
Are you gonna wear your pajama pants to the event? Or are those like actual dress pants? They look like pajama pants.
Kanske var dumt att jag sa det där om Erik. Fattar att det är tufft att höra.
Känner ni er redo? Wilhelm? Varsågoda.
Well, it's just Simon. Who picked his outfit for this? Like it looks so bad. Like these two are wearing actual suits that fit them. Simon is actively not wearing a suit that fits him, and pajama pants seemingly.
Vill du ha? Den är jättegod.
Tack, men jag kan inte äta något som inte hovets kock har tillagat på såna här grejer.
Varför?
For
Det finns
poison
risk för
reasons?
förgiftning.
Yeah. Think Simon's gonna poison you?
Farima, jag skiter i vad mamma och pappa tror att de ska åstadkomma med att ha med August på min middag. Jag vägrar. Okej? Det är antingen han eller jag som åker tillbaka till Illerska.
Dude, you need to chill.
Man tar bara studenten en gång i livet, eller hur? Bra, jag fixar en bild till dig.
Tack.
That's awkward. He told his classmates he wasn't gonna be there. Again, Simon's outfit is awful.
Och pappapaketen som vi har med har vi med. Och pappapaketen.
Pappapaka.
Det är grodan boll.
Froggy ball.
Grattis, käre Wilhelm. Han lever, hipp hipp. Hurra, 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 hurra.
Hurra.
You did one extra, Shmi.
Grattis.
Tack, pappa.
Mama Skywalker.
Ska vi, vi tar väl något att dricka, va?
Ja, absolut.
Gärna.
Maybe they assume by this time next year they won't be together. And so they're like, we can have a bigger party next year.
Fan, vitsmak är jävligt fräscht.
Eller hur? Farsans gamla.
Skitbra.
Of course, Sara is the one that has to make up the place for him.
Sen brukar jag träffa kompisar, bowla och typ spela laserdom.
Laserdom? Ja, det har jag inte provat.
Yeah, we should do laser room. Penalty round. This dude has a white suit on.
Oj, jag vet inte. Vi byter bara ut den här. Och sen så sånt där på alla, en av varje typ.
Ja,
kanske.
absolut.
Och så tar vi lite...
Bonding. Such a contrast between the two dinners. This one's just so awkward and quiet and tense.
Den gjorde Erik också, han var väldigt duktig pianist.
Ja.
Och så spelade han tvärflöjt och var
Violin fast.
Han var så talangfull. Vad han än tog sig för.
She only wants to talk about Eric.
Smakar det inte?
Jo, det var gott.
She just can't get out of her own funk.
Flest röster fick han faktiskt för klassens bad boy, August.
I don't know if he wants to be known as the bad boy. He's just, I feel so bad for everyone. They're just all, they all seem depressed. Convenient timing.
Tänkte jag tillbaka.
Varför det? Det är inte långt. Jag läser.
She doesn't want to know what it says.
Hej August i framtiden. Jag hoppas att du går ut hillerska som den man du vill vara. Att du genom hårt arbete och disciplin lyckats förvandla dig från den taniga, rädda lilla ettan som alla körde med på invigningen till en stark och självständig individ som ingen vågar jävlas med. De ska få se. Det här första året var bara början. Du har slutat gråta, du har lärt dig bita ihop.
It's just like for her to show that things can change.
Några kompisar. Jag hoppas att du aldrig kommer behöva vara ensam med. Jag vill att du ska förstå var jag kommer ifrån och vad jag försökte eller trodde att jag ville vara. Jag vet inte ens om jag vill det längre. Jag vet inte vad det är som jag är.
He's just a sad boy who feels alone and doesn't want to be alone anymore.
Jag önskar att jag hade gjort annorlunda med dig.
Dang, wasn't expecting that. Hello, random girl. You gonna tell everyone what you just saw?
Alltså, det kanske är bäst att jag bara åker hem. Va? Vad fan menar du? Varför då?
För att det känns inte som att jag borde vara här. Det är typ dålig stämning.
There's a bad atmosphere, but I don't think it's because of you.
Simon, det är min födelsedag. Fan, tror att det här känns för mig? Alltså, jag har varit så orolig för mamma och nu får vi äntligen se, så det är bara en vidrig upplevelse. Men absolut, om du tycker att det är så jävla jobbigt så åk du. Gör det.
You guys need to break up. I'm sorry. Like, you can't. Like, you just don't treat each other well. I understand you got a lot going on, but you can't. You're just treating this kid like shit.
Så jag tror faktiskt att jag ska tacka för mig. Ni stannar bara och
She just like can't be around him for some reason.
Är det så jävla jobbigt att sitta ner och äta en liten jävla tårtbit?
Eller vadå? Alltså, förlåt, men kan vi sluta spela teater nu?
Sluta låtsas att allt är normalt. Snälla.
Shmi Skywalker, tell the truth.
Det är ingenting som är normalt efter Eriks död.
Men ni låtsas ju som att det är normalt. Ni skrapar på ytan. Ni pratar om det, men ni menar ju ingenting av det ni säger. Jävla sjukt. Eller, jag vet inte, jag var helt förstörd. Jag var helt förstörd och jag behövde dig. Behövt er. Jag fick liksom inte ens sörja i fred med er. Hela jävla Sveriges sorg var viktigare. Det enda du har brytt dig om, det är hur jag ser ut och hur jag ska vara som kronprins.
I love that he's airing all this out.
Vem jag är, då bryter du ihop. Då går du sönder, då kan du inte fungera. Då lämnar du mig helt jävla ensam.
Ja, men Wilhelm, det räcker nu.
Och du! Jag är din enda son, pappa! Kan du se mig?
Wilhelm! Du talar inte så till din far.
Jag
och
talar
inte
hur
så
fan
till
jag
mig
vill till er. Ni är
heller.
mina fucking föräldrar! Ni ska finnas där för mig!
Det är faktiskt inte så lätt att vara både din mamma och din chef.
Nej, jag märker det, för du är lika jävla kass på båda två!
Du, slutar du!
Jag vet inte.
Everything he's been bottling up for the last 3 seasons. Everything he's wanted to say to his parents and he just couldn't. Now he lets it all out. Whew. That's it's tough.
Wille, jag tycker det är bra att du är ärlig mot dina föräldrar. Och jag försöker verkligen finnas där för dig. Men sen ser jag bara hur allt bara skadar dig. Hela den här situationen du är i.
Yeah, you guys, I think, would be in a healthier place if you ended your relationship.
Mig. Jag känner inte igen dig. Kärlek borde inte vara så svårt. Vad betyder det?
He's going home.
Kanske bara inte går.
Just love is a losing game. Loving you is a losing game. Yeah, the end of that episode was tough. It was tough, but I think it's just like the culmination of everything that's been bubbling for the past 3 seasons, honestly. Like, both in terms of Simone and Willie's relationship, Willie's relationship with his parents and with the nation and the whole situation, August and Sara's relationship, like everything that's just been simmering and bubbling over the course of the last 3 seasons finally like just erupted at the end, and we're hit with a resolution that hurts, like it sucks, but I think that needed to happen. Like I think Willie got a little hurtful at the end of his explosion there towards his mom, but at the same time, like, everything he said was true. Like, he lays it all out there. He's like, I needed you. My brother died. My oldest brother, only sibling, who I have looked up to my entire life, who I have tried to emulate my entire life, died. And I needed you to be there for me, and you weren't. You weren't there for me. Like, I wasn't allowed to grieve through this whole process. Like, you didn't grieve with me. Like, we didn't grieve as a family. The only thing that mattered was how we appeared to the nation, like what the image was from the outside, and that's carried through all 3 seasons up to this point, is just preparing him for the next stage and the role he'll have to play. And they never took a moment to like be a parent to him. Right? Like he needed his mother and he needed his father, like, and he called them both out. Like, he's like, Mom, like, you are trying, like, she said, it's hard to be both your mother and your boss. And it's like, you haven't tried to be either. Like, he says you're useless at both, which in my opinion felt a little mean-spirited. But, you know, where it's coming from is a valid place. Like, she hasn't been a good boss as the queen to the upcoming prince. Like, she barely interacts with him. Everything he does is through, you know, different side aids and, you know, all these other things. Like, he never talks to his mother in terms of like being the prince, but then he never gets to talk to his mother. Like, he hasn't talked to her in seemingly months. He gets to talk to his dad every once in a while, who kind of relays some information about her, but like, she doesn't talk to him. They're sitting at dinner and she's completely disengaged. Like, she refuses to basically even look at him and acknowledge him. You know, the only time she actually engages in the conversation is to talk about Eric, and that's like the only thing she's focused on. And you know, you got to give her a little bit of grace, because her son died. Right? It's not just that Willie's brother died. Her son died. Like, her firstborn son died. And that is a devastating thing. Like, grief is a horrible thing for someone to go through, especially like a parent. A parent having to bury their own child is arguably one of the worst injustices that is out there. So you got to give her a ton of grace. But at the same time, at a certain point, she has to step up and realize that her own grief and her own depression and the spiral that she's, you know, allowed herself to fall into is having such a detrimental effect on her son's mental health, her relationship with her other son. Like, it's just a situation that she can't. It's tough to like. I don't want to sit here and like police someone else's grief, right? Like, I can't. You can't dictate how someone responds to a family member dying, let alone your child. But as an adult, like as an adult and as a parent, you have to sometimes just put your own shit aside and be there for your kid. And you know, maybe they're taking the approach of like, hey, the dad is there, you know, she can spiral a little bit more because the father is still there. Like, she's not an only parent by any means. But at the same time, like, his dad hasn't really been there at all either. He's been almost just as absent, right? This kid is alone at school while his parents are off doing like the royal duties on their own without him, and he hasn't gotten to spend any time with his father, grieve with his father, mourn with his father. Like, none of this has happened as a family. And like, all of that pain is infecting other areas of his life. And then that's just regarding like the death of his brother, who then, like, couple in the events of last episode where he realizes the dead brother that he's been looking up to his whole life and trying to emulate as best he can through all this grief is also not a perfect person. Like, he finds out that his brother possibly was involved or led some horrible stuff Like, and he's concerned, like, you know, all the love that he's not feeling from his parents, that he can take solace in the fact that, like, hey, my brother loved me. My brother would be there for me if he was here. And then, like, I literally think that's the only thing that was preventing him from falling apart, is like the idea that, like, his dead brother's looking down on him and would be proud of him and cares for him. And then he gets that info from August last episode, and he starts to think, damn, my brother might not have even liked me. Like, if he found out, if my brother knew that I was gay, he might be disgusted by me. Like, and all the love, like, even though he's not alive, all the love that he'd been using to prop himself up from his brother, that's all gone in an instant. And then he really feels the absence of the love of his parents. And then you couple in the whole Simone situation, how, like, you know, when they got together and started dating, like, it compounded. Like, the Crown still only cared about the public image. They didn't care about their actual son and who he is as a person and what he's going through. And they let him go through with that all alone, and he's just been it's just all the negative feelings that he's been trying to keep down and that have just been boiling just explode, and he lays into them, and it's tough. It's tough. That's a lot, and no kid should have to go through that, right? Like Simone and his mom said, like, love shouldn't be this hard. Both romantic love and then familial love, like, it shouldn't be this hard. But it is, and they're struggling. And Simone comes to the conclusion that I've kind of arrived at for the last, like, 4 or 5 episodes at this point, is that this isn't working. Like it's just not working. Even from just like a, hey, like, we don't line up on a lot of things standpoint, but then from how they interact with each other. Like, Simon's a good kid, and he's trying to be there for Willie, but, like, he just receives the brunt of so much emotional backlash and so much, like, you know, he is caught in the crossfire, so to speak, of so many things. Anytime Willie is, like, devastated by something emotionally, Simone is the one that seems to take a big brunt of that from Willie. Like, Willie does not treat him well when those things are happening. And, you know, he can apologize all he wants and say, I'm sorry, everything went wrong. But at the same time, like, you're still treating that person like shit every time. And from Simone's standpoint, like, I don't want to be the one, I don't want to be waiting until something happens, right? Like, I don't want to be going through this relationship waiting for the other shoe to drop and waiting for you to lash out emotionally because someone else told you something about your brother or something didn't go perfectly. Like, it sucks what he's going through emotionally, but he can't treat the person he's with that way. And so Simone comes to the conclusion, I think, that this isn't going to work. And if they go back on that next episode, like in the finale, if they go back on it and they come to a standpoint of, like, hey, we're going to be together again, I think I might be a little upset. Like, I think I legitimately will be angry. Like, okay, what I'm about to say, I'm going to make a comparison that is not remotely the same. Like, I need to be clear about that. Like, the severity of the situations is not remotely similar. But if Simone, like, as of right now, I'm taking this as, like, they are breaking up, or they did, or they're about to, right? I hope they are. If they end up together at the end of next episode, like they're dating and in love, I will almost treat it the same way as, like, when someone goes back to their abusive partner. Like, it's just so frustrating. Like, when you realize, like, hey, you need to leave. You need to get out of this situation. And then they do, and then they take that person back. It will feel emotionally similar to me if they end up together at the end of next episode. And again, I want to be clear. I am not equating what Simone and August, or not Simone and August, what Simone and Wilhelm are going through. I don't want to equate that to someone who is being physically abused. That is not the same thing. But emotionally, as a viewer, as someone looking at the outside of both situations, it would feel similarly emotionally for me. And so I don't want them together. Honestly, at this point, I've fully come to the conclusion that they shouldn't be together, and I actively don't want them together. I want these kids to be happy. I want them to live happy, healthy lives. But like at this point, I think they need to do that separately. Maybe years down the road, maybe you can come back together and rekindle things. But now you should not be dating. Like, you just shouldn't be together. It's just emotionally not a healthy environment for either of them to be in. And I would appreciate it if they ended the relationship. Speaking of relationships, we potentially had rekindlings of 2 separate relationships, both involving Sara. Well, she had a rekindling of 3 to 4 separate relationships and an ending of 1, all in one episode. So she kind of ended her relationship with her father, which is such a bummer. Like, he's been doing so good, and he's been being like such a present father, and like he's making her dinner, and she suspects something's off, right? Like, she immediately clocks it. She's like, what is going on? Like, are you on something? And he tells her he got new medication. That might be true. He could have been lying to her, I don't know. But she catches him later drinking with his buddies, right? This man's a recovering alcoholic. Like, him being an alcoholic is essentially what destroyed their family, like tore their family apart. And it's something he has been off of or away from for so long. And then he doesn't pick her up for her driver's exam, which is already shitty enough. Like, you promised to drive your daughter to this thing. Like, you almost made her late because of that. Like, she had to sprint. How far did she run? Like, how close is this freaking driver's thing? Like, she must have ran like multiple miles to get there. Like, that's crazy. But she gets there and she passes the exam, but like, she sees you out drinking. Like, you didn't just like, you didn't get in an accident. You weren't at the doctor. Your phone didn't break. Like, you actively chose to go out drinking with your buddies rather than be there for your daughter, and it's just devastating. So I think that's the end of their relationship, but because of that, she kind of rekindles a relationship with Simone and her mother, where she really just lets everything out. She's like, I'm sorry. Like, she just is bawling, and it's so sad, and they forgive her. And so seemingly that relationship is mostly mended. I think they're good now. And then she kind of rekindles a relationship with Felice when they're cooking. You know, both of them have obviously missed each other greatly, and they're just having a good old time cooking dessert together. It's just fun. They're laughing, and they're seemingly on the road to being friends again, or like really close. That might change depending on what just happened towards the end, regarding her and August. So August's letter that he gives her, it's his letter from his younger self, where he's essentially writing to himself being like, hey, life sucks ass right now. Like, you're lonely, you are scared, you feel self-conscious, you feel less than, you just wish you had friends, you know, all the people that are mean to you, like, eventually, like, you're gonna have friends, you're not gonna be lonely, you're gonna be big and strong. Like, he's essentially just trying to show her like where his mind is at, like where he comes from when he's, you know, thinking about things, and like why he acted the way he acted. And it's just sad. It's just sad because he's like simultaneously like telling her where he's coming from, but he's also telling her like, hey, life can change. like if she is in a shitty mindset right now, like everything sucks for her, and if his life could get better, then her life can get better, right? But he's also apologizing to her, being like, I wish I was different with you. Like I wish I could have been better for you. And that, I mean, she's going through a lot this episode, and she kisses him, and they're kind of like holding each other there. And then what's her face, the one girl who's like, I don't know how to feel about that one friend. Like she's like in love with her other friend, but like doesn't want to admit it, and is just causing problems. She goes and tells Felice what she just saw, and that potentially is gonna lead to some issues between them next episode. And so I'm curious how all that is gonna play out. But yeah, overall, this episode is just, it's watching this show is just emotionally taxing. It is emotionally a dense show. Weirdly, this show feels similar to when I watched Euphoria and when I watched Dark in similar ways. Like Euphoria, both of these shows, this show and Euphoria, very emotionally taxing. Like you watch it and by the end you're like, oh my god. like I am just emotioned out. Like I used all of my emotions watching that. And it's just tough. And then the comparison to Dark, like it partly just as surface level as like, hey, you're reading subtitles the whole time, so you have to be like laser focused on every piece of dialogue, everything that's coming across the screen. So you're already like in it. You're already like feeling it. You have to be zoned in, right? And being zoned in to a show that is emotionally devastating is in itself just a dense thing. Like Dark, you're having to pay attention to all these timelines and like, you know, think through all these like, what if this happens, then this happens, and you're like trying to think through it all. This show, you're trying to navigate those emotions and those conflicting feelings, and I'm just like, oh my god. Like my brain hurts after I watch this show. My heart hurts after I watch this show. Because these kids just need therapy. I just want happy things for these children, and like it's just such an interesting show because like I'm usually like the loosey goosey like joke around when I'm watching shows type guy, and then I watch these shows like this show and a couple others, and I'm just like, I don't know if I can make jokes because it's just like everything is shit. It just hurts my heart. It hurts my heart to watch these kids scream at their parents about how they weren't there for them for the death of their family member. And it's just like, oh my god, I just want them to be happy. Because it's not even like sometimes there's happiness. It's like every episode is just emotionally tough. Like it is hard. It is hard to get excited to watch this show because I know that I'm gonna feel awful. Like, it's a great show. It's really good. It's a great show. But, like, I just feel like someone punched me every time I watch. And it's tough. It's tough, brother. Brother, it's tough, brother. But, no, yeah. Next episode is the finale of the entire show. It's been a doozy having you guys along for the ride, and we got one left, so be prepared. Be prepared. Little Lion King action in there. Yeah, that's all I have to say about this episode. I've been talking for a long time. Definitely let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below. I'm very curious to see how you feel. If you enjoyed my reaction, please leave a like on the video. If you're new here or you find yourself coming back often, hit subscribe, ring the bell so you're notified when I upload. And then if you want to see the full uncut version of this reaction, consider supporting me on Patreon or joining YouTube memberships. You just sync up your own copy of the show and you can watch along with me. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I will catch you guys next time.